we hope that we can realize a future, which you just described, where the default choice just always is a good choice. Like there's no bad choices. That would be the ultimate vision that we're trying to work towards here.
Very often we talk about food in this context. We talk about the challenges, right? We talk about statistics like 1/3 of all food is wasted across the value chain. At the same time, there are many people in the world, of course, who suffer from malnutrition. There are health costs and negative effects from other nutrition problems in more developed parts of the world. Our angle has always been on what's the solution to this, and that's kind of the circular frame. What if our food could help to actually rebuild biodiversity? What if our food could be part of the solution to climate change? And what does a transformation of the economy, a transformation of the system look like? On the date of airing this episode, we are publishing a new paper, a new publication along the lines of what you described. What's the kind of synopsis or brief, the brief findings of that research?
Yes, so we have this new study, new publication that's now available called The Big Food Redesign, Regenerating Nature with the Circular Economy. And essentially the headlines are that food manufacturers, so our favorite brands, and retailers, so supermarkets that we go to get our groceries, they have this massive opportunity. They have the power to make nature-positive food the norm. So imagine if you could go to the grocery store and every choice that you're faced with actually is nature positive by design. And that's the amazing thing about food, is it's from nature, which inherently is regenerative. So it can be, as you're saying, actively building biodiversity and tackling climate change. And so this study provides a new design-led approach for these businesses to realize this opportunity and demonstrates that it's possible. And so it's all about going beyond better sourcing of today's current ingredients, because we need to diversify big time. That's just inherent to shifting to a regenerative production model where we have much greater diversity of what's produced in a given area of land. Today, exactly four crops provide about 60% of the world's calories. So that just shows how concentrated it is today, and we need to go well beyond just better sourcing of those few ingredients to rethink what ingredients we're using altogether and how they're produced. So that's really linking with the design piece of things. And if we rethink our ingredients and how they're produced, we can provide better choices for customers, better choices they're better for farmers as well, and better for climate and biodiversity. And so we looked at potatoes, wheat, and dairy in the EU and UK to do some analysis to get the quantitative evidence to back up these more conceptual design opportunities.
There's what you're saying there, because very often when people hear about the problems in the food system, where they go to in the mindset wise is, what can I buy that is better than I don't know, the mainstream? What you described there is a vision where there's only good choices on the supermarket shelf. It goes beyond just individuals having to make these very difficult, complex decisions all by themselves.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. And that's what's really interesting looking at those ingredients that I just mentioned. It's not just about doing this for business to do this because it's good for nature and society more broadly, but actually we found that doing circular design for food and applying those approaches can not only reduce biodiversity loss by about 50%, and greenhouse gas emissions by about 70%, but also increase total food output by about 50% and increase farmer profitability per hectare by about $3,100 each harvest or year in the case of dairy. So it's just showing that this makes sense across the board. And because of that, we hope that we can realize a future, which you just described, where the default choice just always is a good choice. Like there's no bad choices. That would be the ultimate vision that we're trying to work towards here.